It's been a while since I've showed my face here. I looked on my channel and it said that it's been over 100 days since I last posted, and I'm very surprised. I didn't process that 100 days have passed. It is February though, and I posted in November, but still. I've been feeling very crafty recently, so I ended up learning how to sew, or I'm in the process of learning how to sew, and I have been learning how to use the sewing machine. I've been practicing my stitches on little printable practice sheets, which has been going pretty well. And today I want to go get some fabric to actually start making something. So I'm going to go to Goodwill and an actual fabric store in the city. And there's this other place called Scraplana where it's kind of like a arts and crafts thrift store. And since I'm going there to donate some yarn, I figured I can check out what fabric they have anyway. And I also want to work on my sweater that I still haven't finished, by the way. I've just been busy with work and just trying to get myself together, but I'm very, very happy that I'm in a crafting mood, and I'm actually sticking with sewing this time because last year I was trying to learn how to sew, but at the same time I was really burnt out, and learning something new while being burnt out is just not a good mix. But I feel myself like I'm processing all the information a lot better this time around. So I'm really excited. But yeah, I don't want to get stuck in traffic, so let's go. It's my first time at a fabric store, so we'll see what we have in store. I felt so out of place at the fabric store. Everyone around me looked like they knew what they were doing, and I tried to play the part as well, but I just looked like a newborn puppy trying to figure out what life is. I ended up being here for quite a long time, going through articles online about which fabric to start with and how to read the labels, but half of the labels weren't even like the ones online, which made it a little bit more difficult for me, but I think I figured it out. Alright, I got some fabric. I got two things. They didn't have that many options for the cotton fabric, and I heard that it's good to start with cotton as a beginner. Cotton or linen. I ended up getting two things of linen, or one cotton, one linen. And the one project I wanted to work on, they didn't have enough of the yarn. They didn't have enough fabric for 3 yards, and then the ones that they do have, I didn't like. So I'm gonna see if I can find somewhere else, or just have to get some from Etsy or something. Hello. So it's been a day since I went thrifting and to the fabric stores and everything, and I took yesterday to cut out all of the patterns. I haven't cut out the fabric yet, but cutting out the patterns took longer than I thought it was going to be, and like taping everything. So I have 3 patterns. The first is a bubble skirt. I cut the pattern to my size for this, but then for the other patterns, which is a pair of pants and then a maxi skirt, I kept all the sizes on there just in case I wanted to customize the pattern later down the line if it works out well. So from the thrift store, I got 3 button-ups. They're all these stripe patterns here. They're really, really cute, and I'm kind of thinking that I don't want to cut it up, but at the same time, I really would like to. This one I'm not gonna do anything with today, but these 2 I want to use for the bubble skirt. This is kind of my inspiration right here, and I think it would be really cute to use these both. But to make the bubble skirt today, I'm gonna be using this fabric, which I got at the fabric store. I wanted to use this for the maxi skirt, but they didn't have 3 yards of it, so I think I only got either 1.5 yards or 2.5 yards. I really don't remember how much I got, which is not good. But for the pants, I'm gonna use this fabric here. They didn't have that many patterns that I liked, and then I ended up going to Michael's just to see what they had, and they had a lot of patterns that I liked, but I needed the fabric to be at least 54 inches wide, and all of the Michael's ones were 44 inches, and I was like, I don't know what I can make with this. So I ended up just getting these from the fabric store. And then at Scraplana, I actually found this fabric. I don't know how many yards it is. I'll have to measure it out. But this was only $2. It was really nice. I think I might use this to make a prototype of the skirt just to see how the skirt looks at the end. And then also yesterday, I kind of went through a wormhole of going through a bunch of fabric websites, and I found 2 fabric websites that I really like. And I saved a bunch of fabrics on there. I'm not gonna buy any yet. I'm just gonna make pieces with what I have, and then later down the line, if I have an idea for a project, then I'll get the yarn. I mean, the fabric. If I ever say yarn, just know I mean fabric. It's kind of like, all I did was talk about yarn for the past couple years, so it's to be expected. I apologize. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the fabric for the pants and then the bubble skirt, or maybe just the bubble skirt. We'll see. The pattern said to iron the fabric before cutting, so I went ahead and got out the old ironing board, but if you can tell, I don't actually iron my clothes. I always just throw it in the dryer and hope for the best, so for me to not even be able to open the ironing board correctly says a lot, but learning how to sew will also teach me how to iron properly. But for now, I opted for just doing it on the floor because I could not get it open. I got this little pressing cloth because in the past, I had a tendency to burn my clothes while ironing, which is why I stopped ironing in the first place. But I made sure this time that the settings were right for the type of fabric I was ironing on and went to town. The cloth didn't do all that much. I just ironed the rest of the fabric without it. I'll still use it in the future though. Ironing the fabric made me realize just how gorgeous it was, and I really wish I could use this fabric for a maxi skirt instead, but you gotta do what you can with what you have. It was time to cut out the actual pattern, and this part was actually so terrifying. I was scared I was gonna cut it wrong and had to look at a bunch of YouTube videos to make sure what cutting on the grain meant. I understand it kind of, but I still don't at the same time. And I saw people put weights on their patterns, so I did that as I pinned down the pattern to the fabric and then just went ahead and started cutting. For some reason, this whole process felt really fun and made me feel like I was an actual fashion designer. I like to pretend I'm in The Sims 4 when I learn a skill because it makes me more determined and pretend that my little skill bar is going up, which it is. Anyways, this is where I'll be sewing. This is the only area I have for all of my sewing stuff. Maybe when I do an apartment makeover in the future, I can thrift a cute desk to have as a crafting table. Before I started actually sewing the skirt, I did a little test sew just to make sure that the bobbin and thread were good to go, and it was, which made me really happy. So I went ahead and got started. I was so locked in. Watching this back makes me laugh because I was really taking it one stitch at a time. I just really wanted to make sure that I was keeping to the seam allowance as much as I could.
It's hard to say if the subject survived. The problem was always the K-rate algorithm. Right.
Some other notes?
Time.
Okay. All right.
Let me in.
Here, I kept making mistakes with the gathering stitches due to my thread being cheap. I was using a cheap thread that came with an old sewing kit I got years ago, and every time I tried to pull the threads and started gathering the top of the fabric, it would automatically break, causing me to have to start over. And it wasn't until I changed the thread to a more sturdy one that it actually worked. But that was after 3 attempts, so at this point my excitement was dwindling at an incredible rate. So after trying over 4 times to do what I was supposed to do in the pattern, I realized that I cut the fabric too short or too small. Like after sewing the seams, I tried it on and I was like, even if I did get this part of the pattern right, the lining wasn't the right size. The actual skirt wasn't the right size. I guess I made the seam the wrong size and I couldn't gather because my thread is too thin. And then I was sitting there for a little bit disappointed, and I realized that maybe maybe sewing isn't for me. I attempted a couple more times before in the past, and it still ended in this type of result. But this time I thought it was going to be different because I really took my time. Like, I was watching so many videos, taking notes, learning the different sewing terms. I was practicing on the little practice sheets, and I'm not mad about, I'm a little bit mad about how much time I spent into it just to come to this conclusion. But at the same time, all that time spent taught me that maybe sewing is just not for me. Like, I like knitting, I like crocheting, and there's a whole bunch of different hobbies and crafts that I would like that I can attempt to try and maybe fall in love with. But with sewing, it's probably just a bit too difficult for me right now. And maybe the only way I'd get better at it is if I take like an actual class. So maybe that would be my final attempt at learning how to sew. But as of right now, I think I'm just gonna leave it alone. Anyways, after all that, I got up an hour later and tried again. I did not want to fail at this. I just really wanted to be able to make my own clothes. And I was thinking, how could I not be able to do it when so many other people can, you know? So I will do it. I re-ironed the fabric, cut out the pattern again, and of course, messed up again. Okay, so I messed up again, but it's okay. I'm figuring it out. So basically, the pattern says right here, this is reversed, it says cut 2 on fold, which is 1 pair. So I thought that cutting this piece in half made a pair because it's 1 piece and then another piece. And then at first, when I was sewing earlier, I cut on the fold and then sewed it together, which is not what that meant. You're not supposed to cut on the fold because this is just 1 piece like that. So I just learned that I have to cut 2 of these pieces out, but because I messed up earlier, I don't have enough fabric. So now I have to use the fabric that I was going to use on the pants that I was going to make. And I'm fine with using this fabric, but I am sad because I really did like this design, and I wanted this to be a really cute bubble skirt, and this is not going to be as cute as this, in my opinion. This would look better as pants, but it is what it is. This is probably why you're supposed to practice on fabric you don't care about first. But this is how you learn. So I'm gonna do everything on this fabric, but probably not tonight because I'm tired. I don't know what day this was, maybe the next day, maybe the day after, but as you can see, I messed up on the gathering again, and me and my seam ripper have at this point become best friends. But I eventually got to adding the elastic onto the skirt, which was an event of itself, but hey, it was halfway done. I had a really difficult time figuring out how to turn the skirt inside out so that the hem is hidden on the inside of the skirt, and after more seam ripping and maybe 2 or more days of analyzing the pattern like my life depended on it, I just decided to do it my way and finish the skirt. You guys, I have officially finished my first ever sewing project, and here it is. While I talk about it, I'm gonna show a video of how it looks on and everything, but basically I have only sewn linings into bags and then a lining into a bikini I made for a Lucy Gray Baird recreation. And I've always wanted to learn how to sew my own clothes. I even said I was going to last year and picked up a whole bunch of project ideas and stuff, but I was burnt out and I just wasn't capable of learning something new at the time. And so fast forward to a year later, which is today, I decided I wanted to I really want to create my own clothing. It is an amazing skill to have, not only for like possible future careers, but just being able to mend your own clothing, tailor your clothing to how you want, creating a hoodie just because you want a new hoodie instead of going out and buying one. Like it's amazing. And I struggled so much with this. First, I had to learn the sewing machine, which was fine. And then I have like this little notebook where I just write down all of the sewing terms that I learn and like how, just in my own words so that I can remember it and know what that, like how how this applies to what I'm doing and all of that, like the bias, ease, ditch stitch, all of that type of stuff. And then I got the pattern and I was like, okay, this skirt is probably gonna be really easy to make. It's just a skirt, you know? But every single step of the pattern, and this is not the pattern's fault, by the way, it's just me being a complete beginner. Even though it says the skirt pattern is for beginners, I felt like I needed a just started yesterday type of pattern. But the pattern is really great. One of the reviews on the pattern said that it took them 3 hours to make the skirt. And I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. I'll finish this in 3 hours. Today's day 8, by the way. It didn't take me 8 days. I had to go to work. I thought I'd be able to finish this the day I started it. But it's okay. I learned so much from doing this skirt. I learned how to do gathering. I learned basting. I think that's what it's called. It's like the stitch that temporarily holds everything together before you do a permanent stitch. I learned how to put together a pattern, how to print one out, and learn how to keep like cut on the fold, things like that, where it was like cut on fold or cut to on fold. It was the simple things I was just really overthinking because I just didn't understand, like cut to on fold. What are you talking about? What does that mean? But once you learn what these things mean, then it gets easier. The only thing is like the last part of the pattern, it was so confusing and I messed up like 3 times to the point where I just decided to do my own thing. You had to connect the lining and then the actual skirt together so that when you pull it inside out, you don't see the seam right here. But I could not figure it out for the life of me. So I was just like, screw it. I'm sewing it this way. And so I just sewed both the wrong sides together and then pressed it with the iron after, and then it looks good to me. So and then I saw like other people on YouTube making it and I was like, man, I felt like I chose the most complicated way to make it. But the reason they did that is just so you don't see all of this seam here. And by the way, this looks very sloppy, but that's just because I didn't take off the temporary stitches. I didn't close off the edges yet. I finished it and I was like, okay, I'm done. Let me chill for a second. But I think it came out really cute, even though I wanted it to be this fabric here. This one goes with a lot of the clothes in my wardrobe already, so I'm really happy about it. Even though this fabric was supposed to be for a pair of pants, I think everything worked out in the end. And I genuinely love my first project. Like, this is my first project. It's done. I'm gonna be a fashion designer. I'm exaggerating, but why not? Like, if I want to be a fashion designer, I mean, I can knit my own clothes, I can crochet my own clothes. Now I'm getting to the point where eventually I'll be able to sew my own clothes and then maybe even be a costume designer. Like, I can make clothes for film or something, or theater, you know, like a local theater near me and stuff like that. Like, just imagine all the film recreations I'm gonna do now once I get this down. Oh, I'm gonna try to figure out how to make a bubble skirt with these two, like that picture that I really wanted to make. I put the pattern piece on here and there's not enough fabric on the flannels to make it. And if I can't, then I'll just do like maybe like a cute bag or something with these and just keep it in stock for if I want to make like a little, I can make like a book cover or tote bag or something small, you know, maybe an eye mask or something. But speaking of book covers, I got this leather from Etsy. It's very pretty. It's purple with flowers on it, and I really wanted to make my own journal cover. I have all the materials for that, and so I want to go ahead and get started and finish this before the day ends, because I want to put all my journals in here and not have it stacked up on the floor like it is right now. I got all my materials for this. I have printed out a little pattern from Me Makes Co. And I have the leather. These are my journals that I'm gonna make the cover for. I think those are the 4 that I use the most, so I'm gonna use it for this. And we've got grommets, pliers, rotary cutter, tape, scissors, and then this black cord to wrap everything when it's done. Don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna figure it out. This is what it's looking like. And this is the inside. I was so scared of cutting this because I thought it was not gonna fit because it was pretty close to the edge, but I think this is good. This is cute.
Yeah. What are you hammering?
A hole
Why?
for my journal.
What?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Thank you. I have my sweater here. All I have to do is do the shoulder decreases and then I can move on to my second panel. I haven't worked on this since October, but I am hoping I can at least finish all of the panels by the end of this month, March. Today's March 1st. I kind of do need to just knit and relax because I was stressing over my sewing project and I've been working all week, so I am kind of tired. I just need to go back to my roots and enjoy a nice little knitting session. Hi, it's the next day. So I got all of the little grommets or eyelets in here. I didn't realize it was gonna mess up my mat. Good thing I had it on there. You can see it's kind of a little damaged, but now it's so pretty. I really like it. Now I have to add the little string to it. I thought that I didn't like how thick this string was, but when I like pretended to wrap it around, it doesn't look that bad. And I can just use this until I get just a tiny bit smaller one, and then I can just replace it. I was thinking of going to Michael's to see what charms they had. I will go to Michael's when I naturally go there for something and then get charms there. I don't feel like going to Michael's only for charms. So I'm just gonna use whatever charms that I've had in here. I feel like I can figure out something, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish this journal cover. It's so pretty. I think it would be cute to add this little lace to it, but I don't know if that might be a bit too much for this particular leather. And just like that, I found some elastic cord that's smaller. I need to stop buying stuff before I look in the closet and see what I already have, but this might be a bit too small, so I'll figure out if I want to use this one or not.
1, 2.5 lengths of this side of your journal and cut it out. And I think when I originally measured it,
I got this charm from Depop. It was for my old phone, but it kept falling off. So I think it would be really cute to have it for this journal instead. Just on the back right here. Yeah, I think that's so cute. I'm also adding this charm here. I just added a little jump ring to it so that it can actually hold it on here. This is the charm that I'm gonna use. I made this, I think I made this for my crochet maxi skirt. I really don't remember. I remember buying this charm for that. Maybe I bought a couple of them. Here is the final look of my DIY journal cover. So this lace here, it's not actually on it. I really want to add this here, but when I tried super gluing it, it didn't stay. It just literally left a stain and didn't do anything. I think I might need fabric glue to glue it on, but I just want it to kind of peek out just a tiny bit to the corner and then kind of tuck it in this way, and same with the bottom. But at the moment I can't do that because I don't have any fabric glue. So it's just looking like this, which is still very pretty. I ended up changing the thick elastics on the side to the thin ones because it was kind of denting my notebooks too much and I didn't like that. I found a bunch of necklaces that I don't wear and I took them all apart So I have some more charms and stuff, and I think these are really cute, especially this one. I want to get this tattooed. I'm not using the ones I just showed. Instead, I just added these on here. So this was a necklace. These are both are necklaces I got from Depop, and they have just been sitting on my jewelry holder forever. And so what better way to make use of it? And at first I was gonna do the dragon only, but I think these 3 charms are fine. And then of course I have this phone charm and then the little flower. Maybe I should have put another flower here, but it's fine. But yeah, I want to make a ton more. I think it would be really cool to make one for my craft books. So like my sewing journal, maybe my crochet journal once I get that started back up again, like a crochet and knitting journal, and then like a planning book of like another planner where it's more catered to my crafts and like, okay, I'm planning to make this and this and this, so that it'll all be in one place instead of just having a bunch of notebooks everywhere. Maybe after I do that, I'll make a little tour of my journal ecosystem and how I plan everything, but I'll probably put that on my second channel. Now to celebrate, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on my knit sweater while maybe watching a movie or something. But before I go watch my movie, I do want to just say that I am really excited to be posting again and knitting, and hopefully I will get back into crocheting as well. And now that I have accomplished making a sewing pattern or sewing project for the first time, I have so many ideas that I want to do and different concepts that are coming into my mind, and I'm just writing down as they come. And I really want to just share this new journey with you and just post for fun. Like I probably do maybe 1 or 2 posts a month, but I'm not about to like force deadlines on myself. It's just when I get the project done is when I get it done, instead of like forcing myself to do it, especially when, you know, maybe I'm like really tired from work and can't really concentrate or something. But the past couple weeks, I've been making sure that my days off, I do prioritize working on what I want to, which is my crafts, and we'll see how that goes. But I don't know if anyone's still here anymore. It's been a long time since I've been posting, but I am gonna be here more frequently. I wanna say thank you to anyone who has come back or is still around. Thank you for giving me your patience and allowing me to take my time away from YouTube to really just get myself back together, because I was doing a lot of, like I was prioritizing the algorithm instead of the crafts that I genuinely want to make. And I'm just really excited to be back to myself again and just creating everything and anything that's physically possible. Like whatever idea I think of, if I can bring it to reality, then I'm gonna try. And if it doesn't work out, then I will still share the journey with you, and maybe it'll inspire you. So yeah, I'm gonna finish working on this sweater. This is that star and moon sweater still that I'm recreating. I finished the one panel already, and now I'm working on the second panel. And that's all I'm gonna be doing in terms of crafts today. So I think I'll probably end the video here. Thank you again for watching. If you've made it this far, put like a little yarn emoji or something in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm really happy to be back, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.